We are back. Joining us is actress Catherine Urbanek. Catherine's credits include the independent political feature Courting Des Moines, playing Kelly Brown, campaign manager to a dark horse presidential candidate. With the Iowa caucuses coming up in February 2020, many different politicians with presidential hopes are visiting and campaigning Iowa often. This film gives you a glimpse into what really happens in the first day to hold a caucus.
Well, with the 2020 election being a huge focus, of course, a lot of people don't know what the Iowa caucuses are. So fill us in on what we can discover watching Courting Des Moines.
Well, what's really interesting is Courting Des Moines shows the race for the presidency right where it starts, which is in Iowa. And before I came on to do the film, I had no idea what the Iowa caucus was. I didn't know why it was important. I just kind of thought everybody just voted for president and that's what happened. But what's really interesting is why the film is called Courting Des Moines is because the candidates really essentially go to Iowa and they really court the voters because in the past, whoever wins Iowa in the primaries usually wins their party's nomination, and then usually goes on to be elected president. So there's this kind of, I feel like it's the first date of politics. You know, you're making the first impression, and it's really where it's very interactive and hands-on, which I think is really separates it from my experience with politics. I kind of always saw politics as very like other. It's not something I interact with on a daily basis. But in Iowa, the presidential candidates actually go and they meet with the voters and sit down and have a beer or a burger with the voters and talk about issues that matter to them. And I think it's kind of what makes it unique in terms of the American political process is the barriers come down and you just have to be a real person with other real people and be able to have a real conversation. And the cameras and the photographs and the makeup artists, they're not there. You're just present with the voters and talking to them about what really means a lot to them in the upcoming election. And if you can't be fake with that. If you're fake, people see right through it.
Right.
And that's that we have in the movie with some of the characters where they're putting on a show and they're trying too hard to win people over, and it just doesn't work. It falls flat on its face because it's not genuine. And Melissa Fitzgerald's character is very genuine, and I think that really comes through as opposed to the other candidates that kind of maybe have more experience or are more career politicians. Right. And so for her, it's very it's just very real.
So, Catherine, how did you get some of the politicians that are on the ticket to be a cameo host on this? Because I've seen this as a reel so many times, the highlight reel, and I'm telling you, all those politicians, you've actually interviewed a lot of them on the film. So tell us how you were able to get that done.
Well, our writer-director, Brent Roski, had a political talk show or show in Iowa called Roski on Politics. And so when the 2016 election, right before that happened, Brent was able to interview Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And then also the spirit in Iowa is very collaborative. So we were able to get congressmen and city councilmen and people that were like, oh, you're making a movie about the Iowa caucuses? Sure, I'll play myself. And it was really cool because former governor of Pennsylvania, Ed Rendell, plays the president in our film. So what's kind of interesting is we have real politicians like Lindsey Graham being Lindsey Graham, and then we have Ed Rendell playing President Ed Rendell. So it's this interesting blend of fiction and real politics. So that's kind of, it was great to see the enthusiasm that the politicians showed for, oh, you're making this movie about the American political process. Yes, I will be in it. And then also just Brent kind of, from his experience working on Roski on Politics, pulling from that as well.
Unfortunately, we are out of time, and it was a great speaking with you. Good luck in the movie, and I can't wait to see it.
I'm excited for Courting Des Moines.
Courting Des Moines, yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Okay. Be sure to watch Courting Des Moines, now streaming on Amazon. Thanks again to all of our guests, and thanks to all of you at home for watching.
And remember, let's continue our conversation on social media. We look forward to hearing from you. Be sure to share with us topics and guests you would like to see on the show, and have a great weekend.
The preceding was sponsored by